Hello, universe. TGIF. So, what's going on? I have not heard anything about the facility that I applied for. I sort of told you yesterday that I wasn't sure certain things, I beg your pardon, doubts started to creep in to my head about the way I did the presentation. Things I could improve on. I spent a little time working on the presentation tonight and improved a certain aspect of it. And then I slept a lot. I was planning to go see The Conjuring and the Wolverine movie today, but I decided not to. I'm thinking I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm thinking that's a part of the plan. But I do have some other things to work on, so I'm not absolutely sold on that. But I'm seriously thinking about it. We'll see. So, there's some things that are in the news that are interesting. Number one, this mayor in, I think it's the San Diego mayor? I don't think it's San Francisco. I want to say it's San Diego mayor. Bob Feldman, is that right? I'm sure I'll have to correct it in the comments below, but I think it's San Diego mayor. He's 70 years old. I think his name is Bob Feldman. And there have been a number of women who have come forward to talk about how he has been sexually inappropriate with them. And I don't think the action itself of what he's done is inappropriate. What I find more humorous is that he says he's going to go through 2 weeks of therapy. If you're 70 years old and you have that kind of an addiction or that kind of behavioral challenge, it's hard to believe that 2 weeks are going to stop that behavior. I think you need to go into ongoing counseling to address that issue, which might make your constituents more convinced that you actually want to change your ways. Let's put it this way. You better enjoy your term as mayor right now and learn to control your body parts when it comes to women until either A, the next election when assuredly you will not be reelected. Well, I would like to believe you will not be reelected. And number two, that they don't find some way to remove you from office previous to the next election. And the thing is, see, this is an example of the issue. When you have some 70 women coming forward and saying you're sexually inappropriate, then you definitely have a problem. What was going on with Clinton back in the day was he was just having an affair. He was just having affairs. These people wanted to participate with him. Monica Lewinsky wasn't forced to provide him with oral pleasure, let's say. She chose to interact and, disgustingly enough, decided to hold on to his seed, as the Game of Thrones puts it. So, yeah. And then Harry Belafonte came out, not out of the closet or anything, but he basically said that he encouraged the governor of Florida to look into or to reconsider self-defense laws based on the George Zimmerman shooting. This has nothing to do with George Zimmerman in my approach to it. Herr Belafonte needs to get off his high horse and start realizing that if you take away self-defense protection from people in general, if someone breaks into their house or if they defend themselves on the street from someone who is putting them in imminent danger, then they could face the law. And what that's going to do is, number one, put a lot of innocent people in jail for protecting themselves. And number two, it's going to take away the rights of people to protect themselves. It's just ridiculous. Look, bad things happen. It's horrible that it happens, but it's been happening for centuries. People have been murdered wrongfully. No, it's not good that people are murdered, but it wasn't as publicized until there was a mainstream media. You're talking about thousands of people who commit crimes. Mind you, we're talking, hundreds of thousands of people who are in the prison system, but you have hundreds of millions in this country, and more importantly, you have 7 billion people on the planet. I'm sure if you put all that together, the people who are doing the bad stuff are probably less than 5% of the population. You don't punish and hold against 95% of the population for what the bad people in the 5% population do. Now, mind you, I would remove a lot of politicians from office because they encourage violence. Mr. Obama and George Bush were 2 examples of that. I would limit, well, I wouldn't limit because it takes away rights, but I think in this case, I think I actually would control the media from abusing the concept, from abusing their platforms to publicize, usually in a wrongful manner, violence. I would limit. See, this is where you have to start thinking about what is better for the nation. Self-protection is not a bad thing for our nation. The right to bear arms is not bad. Do we need to have a stronger policy for evaluating people to do that? Probably. In some capacity, we probably should. You don't want someone with major behavioral issues or mental challenges, any kind of a cognitive issue or a major behavioral issue, holding a gun. It's not about their protection, although partially it is. It's a part about not wanting other people to get hurt. So let's just take someone, for example, who's easy to anger. I have an ex who you could say something and she would snap, even though you didn't mean it in any sort of a malicious or angry way. She would snap and she would go off on you. Now, I don't believe she was prone to violence. She was prone to revenge, but not violence. And as a result of it, I don't think she's someone who would have been safe to have a gun, especially when she has kids who've had emotional issues and have physically been violent towards each other. That's not the kind of environment where you need to have a gun. because she doesn't know how to control the children, and the children don't know how to control themselves. It's not because they're bad. They just have that issue that hasn't been addressed. As a result, it's a dangerous environment for a weapon, a dangerous weapon like that, to be in their living area. Same with people who have serious drug issues. I don't think it's safe for them to have weapons. Does it mean that I would take away or want to see people who have drug issues lose their weapons and never get a chance to get them back? Not necessarily. But I do believe that they should go for a certain period of time without their weapon until they can prove that they have overcome the addiction in a reasonable sense. Let's say, don't hold me to this, but I'm talking about like 5 years after they have gotten off drugs, or alcohol abuse. They should not have a weapon until that time, because it then proves that they have pretty much overcome the addiction to the highest likelihood. But there needs to be proof of that if they want to possess a firearm. People who have long-term cognitive issues, unfortunately it's not safe to do that. Or they have a consistent pattern of behavior that says they are dangerous, or that they have an altered sense of reality, and that they cannot distinguish between what their brain is telling them and what's actually occurring. Those people should not have weapons.